It's the J.R. Joker Show. That's enough of that. A lot of people come up to me and they say, "Oh, hey, old man, what's with you being a comic, huh? You think at your age you're gonna like become rich and famous all of a sudden?" And that got me to thinking, do I want to be rich and famous? I thought about it and I decided, no, I don't want to be rich and famous. I'll settle for rich. Although fame's awfully attractive. Actually, both wealth and fame are part of a small group of irresistible attributes that everybody wants to be associated with and which everybody admires. There's beauty, wealth, strength, intelligence, renunciation, and fame. You could look these up in the ancient Vedas. Go to ISKCON.com and look it up and find out all about it. But fame is one of those. And the famous person doesn't have to be rich or smart or strong or whatever. Just famous, when we do have celebrities that really aren't noted for anything. Although beauty is one of those attributes. No one goes to an art gallery to see an ugly painting. People are attracted to beauty, and people are attracted to fame. Look, there's a famous person. Where? Over there? That person? No, next to that person. Oh, yeah, I recognize that person. That's that lady who, did that thing, whatever. And you gotta look. You gotta look. So, anyway, I really wasn't out to become famous. Because, if you got your choice, you're rich and famous, fine. But rich or famous? Come on, it's clear you want rich, or you got some psychological problems, So I was working as a teacher, as a language teacher. Did I mention that's the worst? It is the worst. And I had my own private language school in Miami Beach, and somebody said, "Why don't you do a TV commercial?" I said, "TV? I can't afford to go on TV." And this is like cable was starting, and I didn't know about it. And they said, "Yeah, you could put a really cheaply made commercial on cable television, and they just put it on more or less in your part of town, in your neighborhood, or whatever. It's not like you're paying for national television commercials, which were pretty much the only option I was aware of. So I became aware that very cheaply I could put commercials on my part of town, Miami Beach, and not bother to pay for Miami. I didn't expect anybody to come from Miami or Hialeah or Coral Gables, to go to my school on Lincoln Road in Miami Beach, on South Beach, name dropper. So I lived there. What do you want me to do? So, and that led to, I really enjoyed producing the cheesy commercial I made for my school, and that led to me getting familiar with the cable company that aired it. And then I took a look at them and I said, you could use me. You really don't have any really a good sales department to sell your airtime or your production. Hire me. I'm everything you're looking for. I'm a bilingual Jew that knows Miami Beach for years. And they did hire me immediately, and I immediately closed my school, and then that led to me ultimately going to the Florida Film Institute and doing private productions and getting an office at Greenwich Studios. What is Greenwich Studios? Greenwich Studios is a bona fide movie studio in Miami, Florida, where, name drop time, where they shot Flipper and Miami Vice and a bunch of other stuff, Ace Ventura, True Lies. I can go on and on and on. And so I started working there, and I started to rub shoulders with and even work with and direct Academy Award winning actors and stuff like that there. It's not that I want to name drop like I want you to admire me, but I have to do one. I have to do one. I'm going to do a big one in a second, but I have to do one because it's just cool. It's just cool. And when you hear me say it, you're going to say, like, yeah, I brag about that too. I mean, that's just too cool. Okay. So, Greenwich Studios was founded by Ivan Tors, this Hungarian who immigrated to the United States, started production. His first show was science fiction theater. If you saw Back to the Future, George McFly was conflicted about going to the prom because his favorite show was on Saturday night also, which is science fiction theater. So, it's a pretty vague reference, but it is in Back to the Future. So, and then he produced Flipper and Dick Terry and Gentle Ben and Aquanauts and Around the World Underwater with Lloyd Bridges. The guy he hired to run the studio, because Ivan Tors, he's running around the world scouting locations and making deals and stuff. The guy he hired to run the studio was the guy that co-created Flipper, a guy named Rick Browning. His name is actually Riku Browning, but he's known as Rick Browning. And he's a good, scuba diver and underwater cameraman. He directed the James Bond underwater sequences and what was that? Thunderball or Live and Let Die. One of those underwater James Bond things. And okay, and I became pals with this guy, but that's not the thing I'm bragging about so much. The real name drop is that Rick Browning's first gig was he is the creature from the Black Lagoon. He's wearing the rubber suit underwater. He's the creature from the Black Lagoon. And I saw this movie on TV when I was a kid, and if you would have told me you're going to be pals with that guy one day, you have to admit that's cool. When Marilyn Monroe comes out of the theater and does that famous with the white dress blowing up because of the rush of the subway going underground and blowing up air through the grate that she's standing on, and it blows her dress up. It's kind of an iconic movie thing. The character that Marilyn Monroe plays, and the guy, Tom Ewell, who's her neighbor and who goes to the movies with her, and they're coming out of the theater, and you can see the marquee. It's Creature from the Black Lagoon, one of the better film titles of all time. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Part of the Universal trove of monsters. Universal Studios was big into that. They had Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then all the Sons of, and Returns and Meets and all that. The Universal Studios. I've heard that they're actually thinking about rebooting Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's high time. It's been a long time. Rick Browning's still alive. Maybe he'll do it. And his son is into that. Maybe they can get his son to do. Just like Lon Chaney, who's a Phantom of the Opera, his son, Lon Chaney Jr., was Wolfman. Hey, maybe we have another dynasty with Rick Browning. So, but what's funny, one person might be attracted to the fame of one person, but not another, or just get inured to it. And now I'm going to get to some major film dubbing because it's funny. I'll just say it real fast, and you get used to hearing it. Paul McCartney was going to start another tour. This is going 10 years ago. And he wanted to start his tour in Miami at the same stadium where they play football. This stadium has had so many names, I don't even know what the name is right now or what it was then. No point in me saying it because it's meaningless. The important thing is that it's a nice big stadium, which he, of course, fills every seat. They have to set up more seats, Anyway, so turns out that Paul McCartney wants to rehearse at the studio where I have an office. And it turns out it's booked. It was being rented by Telemundo, I believe. Univision or Telemundo. because they're doing so much stuff that their own studios can't even hold it all. Anyway, and ironically, they weren't even using that sound stage. He just wanted like a week of rehearsal, and they weren't even using it. And they could have, sons of bitches. Anyway, but I was given the task to go out and find a place for Paul McCartney to rehearse. This does not lead to me meeting Paul McCartney. That's very hard to do, and that's very hard to do. But what it does lead to is I go to the hotel where his tour producer is staying, pick him up, and take him around town, about a half a dozen places I've narrowed it down to, which I believe it would be good for, and this is obnoxious now, but I'm going to share this with you, Macca to rehearse in. Macca is like his code word, you know, like Macca has left the building. Macca is wants brownies with his lunch. So anyway, so now I've got to find a place for him to rehearse. Simultaneous to this, a friend of mine who is a vegetarian caterer, interesting society we live in. When I was born, I think there's one vegetarian in the whole country, and now we got vegetarian caterers, you know. And then some people are really picky. Is that vegan? Oh, just vegetarian? No. But that's cool. I mean, these are people who don't want to exploit, not just hurt or kill, even exploit animals. You know how they treat those bees, make them produce honey? Vegans don't eat honey, but anyway, God bless them. They're fine. So the tour producer, who is not Mr. Nice Guy, so I got to take him around, you know, and I'm taking him to places where Bob Dylan is rehearsed and, you know, people of renown. And he's like nasty from the moment I meet him. And as it happens, and it's got nothing to do, I didn't like set this up or anything, and like, you know, I mean, I'm a Beatle fan, so like I got Beatle, you know, CDs playing in my car. So I happened to have a CD playing, and I didn't arrange it again. So we hop in the car, I start the motor, and immediately, you know, the sound system lights up, and it's, you know, and it's Paul McCartney, it's the damn Beatles. And this guy's like, turn that off. You know, and he's like, you know, he's such a suck up, because I've seen subsequent to that tour films, like behind the scenes stuff, and every time he's around Paul McCartney, he's like, hi, I'll sing again, Paul. You know, I don't remember the guy's name, but anyway, he was not so nice. But, and I was like below him, to put it mildly. But we picked up this other guy, and they're talking, and Adam West comes up. Now, name drop again. I made several commercials with Adam West at that studio, and he's a very nice guy, tremendously nice guy. And so I dared to chime in with Paul McCartney, Macca's tour producer, and his buddies, big-time showbiz people chatting, to say, oh, yeah, I worked with Adam West. I suddenly got reincarnated as a human being. And they were like, yeah? What's he like? Is he a nice guy? Like, everybody likes Adam West, by the way. How could you not like the guy, you know? And, you know, so it's funny. It's like, he's with Paul McCartney. When he hears it on my sound system in my car, he's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But I mentioned Adam West, and it's like, I don't know, maybe the grass is greener. You know, the celebrity is cooler on the other side of the fence. And he was just all excited about the fact that I knew Adam West. You know, tell me an Adam West story. So simultaneous to that, during the rehearsals, the vegetarian caterer calls me up. He's a buddy of mine. We're all militant vegetarians, and Macca is a militant vegetarian. If you're on tour, with Maka, you must be a vegetarian. He provides the food. He has a caterer. He sets up. He'll give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever. You know, I mean, you're on your own. I guess it's the honor system, if the hotel, you know. But I mean, if he learns, if he finds out that you ate animal flesh, that if you ate meat, or chicken, or pork, or fish, or groundhog, or whatever, if he learns that you ate, you're off the tour. You're off the tour. And it doesn't matter, you could be in the middle of Albania. Maybe he plays Albania, I don't know. You got to get home on your own dime. You are out. And they kick people out fast, and we observe this. Not me, my daughter. I got her a gig helping in the kitchen. My friend called me up and goes, I need 2 young people. I'd like to have 2 young people to help me in the kitchen. I said, stop right there. First one's going to be my daughter, and the second one's going to be whoever my daughter brings with her. He says, cool. And this is back when my daughter was still in high school, and it was spring break. It was just starting. It was perfect. So she had like a whole week, the week that they needed her. And she just did some menial stuff, chopping up veggies or whatever. And she told me this story. First, I get a text. Wherever I am, she's at the stadium in the kitchen facility, saying, I am standing 20 feet from greatness. I brought my daughter up well. I brought my kids up well. They know the Beatles. I even drilled her like, okay, who's singing lead on this song, honey? Nah, that was George. Yeah, it's tricky, but that was George. Okay. So, and then she told me the story, what happened a few seconds after she texted me saying, I'm standing 20 feet from greatness. Paul's interested in everything. So he stuck his nose in the kitchen just to see what was going on. So, and my daughter was cool. You know, she didn't like, oh, Mr. McCartney, can I have your autograph? This is what happens when another girl did. Another person in the kitchen, not my daughter's friend, sees the great man himself, Sir Paul McCartney, is there. So she has a CD, a Paul McCartney CD. Apparently she had been planning that if she did see him, she'd get his autograph on the CD. Let me tell you that if you're a Jack Nicholson and you brought your CD, Paul McCartney would not autograph it. I don't care who's bigger, who's George, who's the biggest, Brad Pitt. Not gonna happen. So, so this girl's got the CD, and so let's go into slow motion. She starts to move towards Paul McCartney with the CD in her hand. Oh, Paul. Now, Paul McCartney, he is surrounded, not like a wall of, but he is on the periphery of where he's walking, bodyguards. So, they restrain her. And my daughter says that Paul McCartney was not even ever aware of, did my image disappear? Holy cow. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So, turns out that Paul McCartney, according to my daughter, didn't even seem aware that this girl was like, coming toward him with the CD to get his autograph. He just looked around, walked away, and I don't know where he went. And so the girl was restrained by one of the bodyguards and escorted off the property immediately. Adios. So you have to be like really cool if you're working with Maka. It's obnoxious with Paul McCartney. So that's basically what happened. Oh, by the way, they let me hang out there all week, and I was able to eat with the band if I wanted to or whatever. Except Paul doesn't eat with the band. I mean, he is Paul McCartney. But I I went out there and I went up on the stage, and which makes it two stages I've been on that the Beatles have been on. There's this hotel in Miami Beach called the Carillon, which is where the Beatles performed their second appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, which was taped, the early days of taping stuff, at the Carillon Hotel. Or was it the Deauville Hotel? The Deauville. No. Carillon. Oh, heck. I can't remember. It's Carillon. I'm going with Carillon. And they keep the stage set up because it's like historic. You know, the Beatles are on right here on our stage, the Beatles. Hashtag obscure reference, Ed Sullivan impression. And so I went up on the stage, blah, blah, blah. I ate all the vegetarian food there, blah, 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 blah. And on the night of the concert, my daughter had full access. She watched the whole concert, leaning on the stage, looking up at Paul, and bringing us snacks from the band's buffet during the show. It was pretty cool. So that's the extent of my. I still haven't dropped my bigger ones yet, but what the heck? I'll save those for other ocasiones, other occasions. And all right, so that's it for now. I'll see you on the next episode of the J.R. Joker Show. And to prove it's the J.R. Joker Show, I've got a sign. Okay, adios.